welcome. It's been a while since I live stream on this page. Honestly, I've been in a nice, relaxing space since I moved. Oh, nice and easy, taking nice and easy. So I did a few live streams in a group, but lovely to connect with you, my gorgeous ones. Of course, Lenka Lutonska here, your extraordinary coach. And as you know, from time to time, I'm bringing to you some fabulous people that are real experts in their respective works and can support you greatly, have got something in them that can support you greatly in creating extraordinary growth in your businesses and of course impact in many lives of many people and your life. So today I'm very pleased to have Sarupa Shah with us. Sarupa is a columnist at Spirit and Destiny magazine. If you can show us Sarupa, there you go, Spirit and Destiny. So she writes for them, and she's been hailed by Guardian as #1 Telegraph as #1 spiritual guru. So that's something, right? So today we're going to chat about money, abundance. Why is it so tricky for some people to actually do the money work? Why is it important? Sarupa will be downloading some tips for you. And we will be also talking about having more than enough, having surplus, creating surplus in your life. So Sarupa, warm welcome. Thank you so much. And first and foremost, I always ask this question. It's just always interested to hear what made you. I know you've been doing this work for a while, you know.
Gosh, yeah.
You've been doing it for a while, and you just grew and grew, and your impact grows and grows. What brought you to it?
So it was double-edged. One, I loved being in business. You know, like I was a terrible employee, so I knew I had to have my own business.
Yes.
First of all, and then, but I was always going to do spiritual work from when I was younger. But then I realized that they didn't match, because if you go to, in the old days when I used to go to spiritual circles, you could not talk about money.
Very true.
You couldn't talk about the corporate world. And I started to take all that on. But then living in London, you know, I wanted to have the best things and best nightclubs, the best bars, the best restaurant openings, you know, from a young age. And then I realized I was living two separate lives. So I came out, it was around 2008, I came out I was already doing spiritual workshops and, you know, running things like that. And I came out as someone talking about money and abundance and the energy of it. And
it must have been quite difficult, especially back then, because I remember the climate. I was starting my business around that time. And I remember the climate. It was... Nowadays, it's almost like a live stream, well, mainstream almost.
It's mainstream. And we were just talking before we went live. It's mainstream, but only to the point where people are comfortable.
Yes, of course.
And still, there's a massive seed of doubt. So yes, it was. I got, like in the business world, people would think I was crazy talking about energy of money and rhythm and abundance. And of course, I carried doubt with me because people would look at me funny. Spiritual people just thought I was wrong and naive. You know, abundance was everything apart from money. So, you know, it was like I was putting my head above the parapet, so to speak. And, you know, every now and then I would duck back down because I wasn't sure. And then came the explosion from America mostly, largely due to some of the stuff around The Secret and whatever, where people just became very much, you can have what you want, you can have what you want, you can have what you want. But even that for me there was so many pieces missing from it in so many ways. And it was just focused on the mind. And again, because I'm a maverick, I was just thinking if you think, it's not soul. Thinking is one part of us. So I was, you know, it's part of who I am, is to challenge the status quo. And it's okay to challenge the status quo, not to be a rebel for the sake of being a rebel, but to say, actually, if we don't evolve, how are we all going to grow? If we keep trying to rehash the same thing again and again and again, and we do this in our life, we want to keep launching that program that didn't work last year because we need to prove it to ourselves that it's worked. If we keep just doing the same thing again and again and again, we're not growing, we're not aligned to the energy, we're not shifting and moving, and nature continues to move no matter what.
Yes.
It doesn't say, well, that's rose wasn't perfect, so I need to redo it again and again and again. It's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yes. It just,
I'll you know, I'll learn. I'll maybe take more water to that stem next time, and we'll, you know, it does what it needs to do, and carries on. But we have this problem, I think, and challenge of saying, well, we read this amazing book, you know, the Louise Hay book, which revolutionized the New Age, whereas I would describe myself as spiritual. It was all about the power of positive thinking and our thoughts become our reality, which was great up to a point. But now it's about, well, actually, the, you know, universal consciousness can create reality. Our soul can create a reality, which isn't our mind, and doesn't mean that our mind isn't needed. So it's about saying, you know, we're at the foothills of big change energetically. I didn't know we were going to go here, but this is what we're talking about. So it's amazing,
isn't it?
Yeah.
So Sarupa, before we went live, you shared with me that you have this feeling that most people think they're doing the money work, but they're not really doing the money work. Can you expand on that? Because I think it's one of the most powerful ways to grow is to get a dose of truth.
Yeah, I speak this from my own journey because it was in 2008. You know, I'd been in business. If I worked, I could earn thousands a day. In my business, zero, virtually zero. You know, it was, so I had to address it and look at it. And when we are feeling challenged, or when we're a little bit angry, because we're taught as well that we should know about money. When you're an adult, you know, once you're an adult and you get your own money, you should know about money. You work, you earn, you know, and it's meant to be something that's structured. And we don't think about the well-being or the energy aspect of it. And even when we're so scared of what we might find. We might find that we're never supposed to be wealthy, or we're never going to earn enough, or there's something really dark and horrible and not good about us, or the anger stops us going in deeper because we want to say, I know it all, I've got it. And I think that keeps us just on a loop. And sometimes actually we have to get to that uncomfortable place, which can take a second, or it can take, I don't know, it might take a bit longer, but you'll be peeling layers of it to move beyond. And I think that we are really tick box with some of this energy work. You know, I did it last year, so I'm done.
Yes.
Again, I come back to nature. He doesn't say, well, I flowered last year, so I'm done. You know, it was Monday last week. I don't need Monday today. You know, we're on a cycle, and it's a spiral of going up and expansion and expansion. And and at the moment, the universe is breathing out. So the expansion is continuing. There is no full stop yet.
Yes. And so I guess the best indicator of how effective our mindset and energy work is our circumstances, our results, right? So when they're not shifting for a while, or they've been stagnant for a while, we need to do something different. Now,
well, it's interesting you say about results, because I was, you know, I kind of pondering before we met, so I was like to take a few notes, or just thoughts, you know, thought dump, getting ideas, feeling inspired, and it's not. It's kind of, we've put results as the outcome, but actually energy is the outcome. And we don't know what the bigger picture is. So, okay, I could launch something tomorrow, because I know, you know, a lot of the people that you and I are connected with on social media, it's about business. That's just one expression of life, but that's where we are. I could launch something tomorrow and feel that was really like my heart was guiding me to do it, and then nothing happens. I get nobody. And it might be that I did everything intuitively, but the results was actually something energy based, and it wasn't about the outcome, but that was the tool that the universe had given. So we've also got to be a bit broader about results and not get stuck, because what happens because we've equated success to money, it gets us stuck, because then we feel if we don't have money, I can't be living my purpose, there's something wrong with me, I'm a failure, I have to keep going back over the old ground. Sometimes you just have to get up and keep moving forward.
Yes. The way I see it and teach it, and I love what you're saying, is, you know, is that our higher mind, if you like, it has got like aerial view. It knows the perfect path for the greatest expansion and
Yeah.
growth and the fastest path. But logically, when we're down here, we can see it. Well, it's obviously way forward. It's this launch with this much people on it, this much money, or is this X amount of stuff, and in linear way, we think that's how I'm gonna get there. But from up there, the higher mind knows, actually no, because when you go forward, that bridge is gonna close. You're gonna go to dead end. Actually, what you need to go is backwards, left, forward,
Exactly.
right, and pick up those gems and pick up those few parties on the way, and that's how you're gonna get there in the most fun. And but that's how I see it. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, because actually, because some of this is about the purpose stuff, which is always about also linked to abundance. If we keep dictating what it has to be and what it has to look like, it's not our purpose.
Yeah.
That's us trying to tell the universe how we believe our purpose is, when the universe says, look, I've got a much better plan for you. Why don't you just trust me?
Yes.
Follow, listen, learn what you need to learn, understand why you've ended up in a certain place, because then you'll resolve or just tidy up a bit of energy, whatever it is, and then we can and move. Because we're looking for this linear, like you say, people are looking for a linear thing. I start a business, struggle a little bit, then I start just success. It's about energy, and energy doesn't work in lines. Energy works in beautiful, chaotic shapes. And again, it's because I'm seeing my garden and it's so lit up with flowers. It's chaos of beauty.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Still, let's say someone is thinking, well, I've done my money work and I learned about money, and I go out and then sell. And then periodically they just don't get the results they want. Periodically they're still in that I just get, let's say, enough money, and my financial reality is not shifting. So where would you suggest to even start?
Like on an umbrella issue, like, because we have the umbrella terms of, I'm not good enough, there's a worth issue, a value issue. If there isn't a consistency, so that if there isn't a more than sufficiency coming along, and I've experienced this myself, where you think, okay, I'm going like this. If I'm yo-yoing, there's an issue that's come up. That doesn't mean that when I did my money work before, I failed. It means that I wasn't ready to see that, or I wasn't willing to see that. So there's another issue where, because a lot of our issues might have been from lifetime. So if it's like this, we've done maybe 50%, there's going to be other layers of it that we need to address. And that's a bit when you asked me the original question, when we got into this, we're so afraid because we need to keep saying to ourselves, I've done it, I've got to have done it, please, fingers crossed, I've done it. It's like, you know what, it's all about the adventure. So I would say there is definitely, if you are somebody who says, I've done my money work but it's still not working, and you instead of putting a barrier around yourself to protect yourself, go and ask for help, or do the work, go back and do some more work on it, or whatever you need to do, because there will be other pieces where somewhere in you do not believe that you are allowed to sustain wealth. Now, the reason for that will be a number of different things on your unique path, because there isn't a template. It could be that you still don't believe you're good enough. It could be something else that's related and linked, but there will be something, because it is actually about having that consistent sufficiency that's more than sufficient.
Yeah.
And if there isn't, there is something happening. It's not the economy, it's not the country or the town or the city you live in or the competition in your industry or anything that you might tell yourself. It's something in you.
Yeah, it's gonna be essentially holding on to some idea.
Yeah, and it's part of your magic, because sometimes I know every place I've been to in my money story, it means that when I work with people, they can tell me their most beautifully created story and I can say, no.
Yeah, you feel them, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. I often tell my clients, if something is not bothering them, or if they even don't get results they want, if they're in that plateau or anything like that, just really the first thing you do, offload, literally offload, what's bothering you, what's on your mind, why do you think that is? Because otherwise it's just working somewhere there in the background, and it's like a fake, like a mask. I'm managing my, I'm doing my energy work. Look at me. I'm doing my morning routine every day with whole stuff of, that is happening in the background and is part of our energetic field, whether we like it or not, right? Yeah, so would it be across those lines to kind of, become aware what it is? I don't know. I just use, offload, so you see
offload. But there's also, like what's been happening recently with the energy. So I was talking about this morning with somebody. The soul does spontaneity, and we've become, we're trying to fit energy into a structure of morning routine, this.
Yeah.
And now actually it's about breaking all of that. And recently I had a own personal experience. I hit another depth of my my challenge that started in 2008, when it was like, to be spiritual, you can't be rich. So, and it's come over the year, like last year it hit me around this time of year. Whoa, here's another piece of this. So another piece of it came. So my mind said to me, oh, you're going backwards. So that would have been, if I'd have gone down that road, I'd have stayed there, gone back and tried to do old work in the new energy, and just maybe got stuck for months, years, who knows. And then I had to remind myself, again, energy doesn't move backwards. I can move backwards on purpose or unconsciously, but it was about, this isn't moving backwards, this is another layer. We can be so unkind to ourselves, and uncharitable and uncompassionate, and we judge ourselves and always not having done enough, not been enough. Yeah. And so I would say to people, if you're saying, and I've said this before to spirit, I do everything, I get up in the morning, I do my meditation, doing this, nothing shifting. And they said, well, stop it then. Just stop it all. And I was a bit like, what? You know what? And I say it to my clients, stop doing everything, because you'll end up picking up the things that you want to do because you'll have a feeling for them. But if you're doing them without your heart and your presence actually fully in, you're doing it to try and tick a box, and we've got to stop. So when we're saying affirmations, for example, if you're saying, money flows to me easily and effortlessly, if you're feeling something in your body and you're not addressing what it is, like if every day you say you feel the same thought, or you hear the same thought, or you have the same feeling, and you don't address it, then that's just becoming a band-aid.
Yeah.
To make you feel like you're doing something, or make you think that you're doing something, but you're not.
Yes.
The energy isn't being allowed to shift or grow. So it's all in a context. And it sounds like it. Sometimes when I talk, I think, try and make it sound complicated. It's not. It's just easy, and we've got to roll our sleeves up and say, look, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a little bit dirty. I might cry. I might wonder, why am I doing this? And then I'm going to see the magic.
Yeah. So look at those issues. I love it. And I love what you said about Sarupa, about if you like the same stuff will come up again and again. Sometimes I say different level, same devil.
Yeah. And the when I learned, and it was last year, I'd had a good few years of this issue not really coming up. I could hear murmurs of it, but last year it came up strong for me about the money and spirituality thing. So it surprised me and made me feel a bit immobilized, like, oh my God, what do I do? Have I gone back? Like, of course, our first question is, have I gone backwards? Did I not do enough? And then I had to say, I'm not going down that road. Take a deep breath and realize this is just another amazing opportunity to clear that inner stuff that blocks your light and stops you from growing. So actually, it's a beautiful opportunity. If you hit a resistance and a block, then that means you're growing.
True. So what do you do then? You realize I have got this, if you like, block, or call it what you like.
Yeah.
What do you do with it?
So for me, last year, after the silent scream I made initially, which we do, like, oh my God. Then I look at, first of all, for me, last year I looked at where I was limiting myself, where I was therefore hiding, because it's all connected, because you start hiding, and I looked at what belief I can put in place. Now we want to have beliefs that we can believe. I always say, have a belief that you're willing to believe, that you're willing to step into believing. You don't have to believe fully, otherwise you're going to be waiting forever, and you're only going to stick with what's comfortable.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so always, like, I don't believe, so I would actually be very honest and say I don't believe it yet, but I'm willing to step into believing, XYZ, whatever.
Yes.
So it's actually collaborating with the energy, and this is why you can't really learn this stuff from the book. This is why I'm not a book reader, even though I'm going to write a book. You can't learn this stuff two-dimensionally. It's really understanding it and realizing the energy isn't, because I believed when I was younger, energy was here to punish me, and because you have to be really good and you have to be a certain way, and it was all this illusions around what stuff was, and realize energy is here, and the universe wants each and every one of us to succeed. We are here as a piece of the divine consciousness, and we have a role, we have a purpose, so it will do what it can to support us. We are the ones that stand in our way.
Very true, very true. So how do you define energy then?
For me, energy, how would I define energy? What a brilliant question. Where I don't know. I don't know how would I define it. So for me, it's just a resonance. I see it, I feel it, I experience it. It's not tangible. Like, I can't hold it like this, but it's a flow of
possibilities, I guess. To me,
it's possibilities, but it's also I think, for like, because when I was a little girl, like growing up, I knew I saw energy, but I didn't even, I wouldn't have known what that meant. It wasn't something we talked about. So I saw energy I saw colors around people, and that gave me that immediately, even as a 6-year-old, I knew what had happened in their life and what was going to happen and what they could do. Yeah. So that was why I got into the purpose work. So it's a language. It's a universal language, and I'm not talking like the stuff around light language stuff. I don't go with any of that stuff. That isn't my thing. It's just a universal language, and that it's a consciousness that brings us all together.
I love that. You mentioned, and I want to get to the surplus idea, but you mentioned, as we talk, that currently the universe is breathing out. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
So the scientists, or I don't know what they're called, astronomers,
right,
whoever, they're talking about the universe is still expanding.
Yes.
So from an energy point of view, that expansion is a breathing out.
Yeah. Okay.
So so it's the energy of it. They will call, scientists and logical brained kind of way of describing it is to say it's an expansion. It's still expanding. It hasn't stopped.
Yes.
Because when it starts to contract, that's when that's when we're going the other way. But so, and from what I've learned from spirit and my spiritual journey and my teachers in spirit and my mentor, is we are one of the few universes that is built on abundance. Each universe will have a different signature. This is an abundant signature. That doesn't mean that we are all born without having to journey to abundance, because there are things that we might have decided that this life I'm going to make sure I've got lots of struggle because I'm just learning a different aspect of abundance.
Relativity, right?
Yeah, but still to get to the same place, but we forget that we can get there. But this expansion, for me, the way when I've meditated with it and to understand it, is if the universe is still expanding and so therefore she's breathing out still, what we even think we can comprehend about abundance is, we don't even know the bigger picture ever, and we're not supposed to know it, so give up trying to discover it. But what we know is still even more insignificantly tiny in a way, because there's still so much more coming.
Yeah.
You know, it's, and the in-breath, the kind of coming in, isn't going to happen in our lifetime, you know. But that's when people talk about, scientists talk about when the earth is going to either fall into itself, or that it's going to land into the sun and everything's going to whatever. But, you know, that's a good long time away. So we've still got the ability to have a lot of fun, do a lot of good, and get over our smallness, so we can be all that we came to be.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's talk about this idea of surplus, or having more than enough versus just enough.
So it's all, I mean, it's kind of what we've all been talking about, isn't it, really? It's this idea of when we are afraid of going in, afraid that we've gone backwards, afraid we're going to find something that we'll never be able to resolve because it's so difficult, or might tell us, because my fear used to be, I'm going to find out I was really bad in so many previous lives, and this is karma, and all this, you know, kind of stuff, is we make do. We just keep making do, and we become like stoic in our struggle, and believe that it's through struggle we get salvation. It's joy is salvation. There is nothing else. Even in the most, like, I've learned over the years to not laugh in a way that makes me kind of look unwell, you know, like unbalanced. You know what? You laugh at things. I was sharing something personal that happened with my dad yesterday. I won't go into the full details of it, but in the end, like, there was an ambulance called. I was giggling with the ambulance people, because you know, because it's also diffusing lightheartedness, diffusing the energy, and allowing me to be more effective than being in that, I've just got to hold myself together and hopefully this will just pass. And that's what we do. It's like we're actually holding our breath, saying this will, you know, maybe next year will be better, maybe next month will be better. And we've got to just open up and do the things. I was saying to somebody this morning, do the things that frighten you. So this might sound really crazy to people. I live in London, and I used to always get the tube home if I went out at night. And I thought, because I'd tell myself, you can't get a hotel, you live in London, that's ridiculous. And I realised that was a limitation, so I book a hotel now. So we've got to, so it's not just in our business, you've got to look at it in life. If you pick up an organic cucumber and go, oh no, that's too expensive, I'll get organic, non-organic, buy the organic cucumber. Stop saying no to yourself and start to see, because if you've got a limitation, even with a cucumber or a banana or whatever it is, that limitation exists.
Yes. Oh, very true, very true. And if it is now, God forbid, you will even make more money, that problem will, you know, will get bigger.
Yeah. And do the money work. Don't stop. You know, it doesn't matter that you did it last year. It doesn't matter that you did it 2 months ago. It's a journey.
Yeah.
You know, and just because somebody else got results when they did it with you, if you were on a group program and you feel you didn't, that doesn't mean there was something wrong with you. We are all on a unique journey. We talk about not comparing ourselves, not competing, yet we look at other people and think, well, they got it, I didn't. They got it, I didn't. Yeah. And we've got to stop that and realize my journey is just different. You know, it took me from being in my business properly full time, it took me nearly 7-8 years to get to the point of addressing my money work. And my money work I channeled about 8-9 years before that anyway, but I put it away because it was too out there for me. So you know, like I would say we're at the point where all this information and wisdom and magic and stuff is available in various things. You will have a resonance to somebody. Go and explore it more. Go deep. If you've done one bit with somebody, go and do a deeper bit. Yes. If you found a connection, I've been with my mentor now since about 2004. You know, and I've worked with lots of other people at the same time, but she's the one I have stuck with. And she's the one I will stick with until she retires, and then I'll go and live with her.
Love it, love it, love it. Oh, Sarupa, I think I have a feeling that we could talk all day long. You have a new perspectives, you know, I love this, and you have got new perspectives, and clearly you love a proper work around money. You know that this is not a stuff, we talked about before we went live. Of course, ladies, if you know my work, I teach money courses. I have got a few available. I think it's very, very important area to look at and work through.
You do magical work,
Yeah.
really, and just watching you is brilliant.
Yeah, yes, and yet, Sarupa is also, that's why I said, Sarupa, what have you got going? Because, I never see as, oh my gosh, you shouldn't I shouldn't offer something similar to I, because exactly that, it's whatever work we're doing, it's ongoing, it's a lifestyle, it's looking at things, and you may be something hearing from Sarupa that you may not be hearing from me, and other way around, and it's for everyone, it's not just for two of us. So I know you have got 40-day journaling course going on.
Yeah, it's a 40-day money healing journaling. Now that's ongoing, but because I used to teach a Heal Your Money Patterns program, which I launched, my original money program, and last year when I hit my kind of new place of, oh my gosh, I've got to look at this other issue, I realized I needed to let go of what I'd been doing and do it differently as well.
Yeah.
Because we can hold on to things and think, well, that was a success, I'll just keep doing it again and again and again. So I let go of it, and then I've turned it into something. It's evolved, but a lot of it is that kind of magic anyway. But the principle of it is born from the same thing, where you get an email every day, virtually every exercise, majority of the exercises are 5 minutes. I say you set your timer for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the kind of journaling that I do on a daily basis, or when I'm having anything, if I'm going through a moment of expansion, I know I need to support myself more. So it's all the tools and things that I use or have used to keep myself with that relationship with money, because ultimately it's a relationship with myself and my soul and my purpose. Yes. Because if I start to let my money stuff creep in and doubt, I'm going to not believe I'm not doing my purpose. I'm not going to believe I'm enough, and it all just unravels. Yeah. So this is, but the thing, I thought we were talking on Friday, but the good news is that we talked today, Tuesday, and today I'd had an offer on over the weekend, it was almost 50% off, so it was £99 plus VAT. So I don't know if we're going to put the link in somewhere. I don't know if I can.
I was trying to, when I was looking down, I was trying to go on my page, because I know ladies are commenting, and sadly I can't go in there, so I apologize, but oops, there you go. Actually, yeah, I'm getting here. Hi everyone who is here. So yes, I will drop a link as we speak to the course right here. And Sarupa, before you go, I wanted to give one, whatever is on your notes or your thing that made the biggest difference for you out of all of the stuff that you teach. I know, right? No pressure. All of the stuff that comes to you.
One thing I'm going to share, and this is what was born out of when I hit that place again last year. It was like, and it came from left field. Now there was like, oh my gosh, there's another layer of this issue that I'm battling with. So in that, I was not battling, like that I had to resolve. So in that, I coined this understanding, and we were talking, and it fits with everything beautifully that we've been talking about, where, there's this kind of surface stuff that people are very comfortable doing. We've become very good at doing the surface stuff. And the question to ask ourselves is, am I trying to make my heart go where my money is? So whether we've got money fears or not, is that what we're trying to fit our heart to follow? Or are we following our heart and letting the money follow? So it's heart where money is, or is money where the heart is? And it's actually so deep when you can ponder that, and it's not just something in 5 minutes. It's like, I love going into this because it just reveals so much about where we are, because it's certain parts of us, the money follows the heart in other areas, we're trying to make our heart follow the money, and that's going to show us where our limitations are.
Yes. Ooh, this is powerful. This is powerful. So great thing to ponder on today. Sarupa, I cannot thank you enough. Well, you'll know Sarupa. You're still in Freaking Amazing Group, yes? You're still around.
I'm still around, yeah. And I'm in here as well, so you can get this free on Kindle for the first two issues.
Really?
For the first two issues, yeah. I mean, then they will charge you, so you have to. If you don't want any more than two, you have to
unsubscribe.
Amazon, whatever, however you can find that out. But it's a really good one this time in this current issue, because you can find out about your money elemental. So it's some work I've been doing with with nature and money, which is really, it's deep work. So, like I said, I'm a maverick, I'm a trailblazer in certain ways, because I've learned to accept that sometimes I say things and do things that don't follow the norm. So this is about working with the nature elementals and money, and understanding that our connection to all that is in the universe.
Beautiful, beautiful. So ladies, you know where to find Sarupa. I put the money course or journaling, healing 40-day journaling course in the link. And I think there are some few comments for you, Sarupa. So when you have a moment, it would be lovely.
I shall go and have a look. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I couldn't do it while we were doing the...
I know. Well, thank you so much, everyone, ladies. Honestly, happy that you're here. This is the work all of us needs to be doing, each and every one of us, for us, for our families, for our clients, but also for the good of the planet. So let's do it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.